All right, so I'm going to share my screen now, and then we would proceed from there. This word share. All right, please confirm that you can see my screen.
I can see your screen, sir.
All right, all right. Now, for as many of us are in the Microsoft Word application, just click on New.
I
Look to
can't
your left.
see.
You can't see.
Yes.
That's probably a network issue. You could try moving around just to get better reception. All right, for those who can see, please, if you look on the left-hand side,
You cannot.
you still cannot see.
I can see now.
I can see. Zoom
All
it.
right, you can
I'm
see now.
seeing the screen. I can see.
Okay, okay, all right.
Sir, please zoom
Now,
it.
I should zoom in. All right, you can actually zoom in from your end.
Okay, sir.
Have you done that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, so let's move ahead. If you look on the left-hand side on your Microsoft application homepage or landing page, you would see a few options there. There's info, there should be new, open, save as, print, share, export, close, account, and options. Now, the first thing we are going to click on is new. And when you should see a couple of selections there, click on blank document because we are going to be working with a blank script. Now, I'm sure many of us have our Microsoft Word open and is set on a bright theme. So the light might be getting into your eyes. But Microsoft actually has a dark theme option that people don't really know of. And it's not usually readily available when you change the theme of your system. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on File. Are we together? You click on File, just as I'm doing. Click on Account. When you click on Account, you should see a header that goes Office Theme. You click the banner under it and you see three options, basically. For those who haven't signed in, you should see three options: colorful, dark gray, and white. For those who have signed in, there are a lot of other options: black, purple. There's a wide range for you to select from. But I know most of us, most of the time, don't usually sign into all these things. So, we'll just carry on from there. Now, I'm currently on dark gray, but if I select white, if you notice, my screen has become very bright with a white background and then blue settings on the side. Whereas if I click that option again and click on dark gray, you see that it has become darker, which would actually help your eyes in the night time. All right. You're seeing my blank screen now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. All right. So quickly, let's just go ahead and start typing some stuff. Okay. So if you look at the header of your screen, under the home ribbon, you would see clipboard, font, and paragraph. Now, if you come to the paragraph setting as I've done, and you select the center option. Now, when you hover over the options in Microsoft, they make it very easy for you. It's very user-friendly. When you hover over them, they show you the function of whatever you're hovering over and the shortcut to get there. So if I click on this, my cursor has become centralized. My cursor has become centralized. So anything I type now, if I type, let's say, my name is Wana Ayuo, it's all at the center. Whereas if I hit enter and I click on align left, which I can also do with Control L. As simple as that. It has moved back to the left. And I type again, I am a man. It comes out at the left. All right. And then let's say we hit enter again to go to a new line, and we do align right, which is shortcut Control R. And then we type today is Tuesday. All right, we see that today is Tuesday is on the right because I highlighted, or I clicked on where I want in the paragraph section for my text to come out. Now, let's say I want to highlight all of this and clear it instantly. You hold Control A. Control A is to highlight everything on your workspace. So even if you've typed a 12-page document, once you hit Control A, you highlight every single thing. And whatever you click at that point is going to take effect for everything. So if I hit backspace now, everything has cleared. But if you notice, my cursor is still blinking on the right-hand side because the last paragraph header I clicked, or paragraph setting I clicked, was align right. So let me click align center, which is shortcut Control E. Now, I want to do a presentation for today's class. If you come to the font area, as I've done, if you just follow my cursor here, click on the text. You can choose from whatever text you want. Now, the most common which we use is Times New Roman. So work with Times New Roman. And then font size 12. Now, if I click here, if you can see my cursor, when I click here, it shows me a list of font sizes I can pick from. Or I could alternatively click beside it. There's a big A and a small a. The big A has an arrow pointing up, small a has an arrow pointing down. Whichever I click just does it for me. If I click the one pointing up, it takes me a step higher. For example, I click on this, it takes me to 14. Now I click on this and I see that after 14 is 16. If I click on the big A again, it takes me to 16. Now, because I'm typing a header for a document, it's best you use a bigger font size so that that one takes priority as the header, and then you continue with smaller font sizes for the rest. So let's say I'm typing, now my caps lock is on, and I'm typing MS Word class day one. Day one. And I want to quickly highlight this. Now, remember, I said you can use Control A to highlight everything, but let's assume that I have some text under this, and I don't want to highlight that also. Now, because I was here, I can just hold my Shift button and press up. And everything before where the cursor was is highlighted. And then if you hit Control B, you make it bold. Let's say under MS Word class day one, I want to write the name of the tutor. Now, because remember I said you have to give preference to text sizes as you go down the line. So let's say we reduce this to font size 14 very easily by clicking the smaller capital A there with the arrow pointing down, and we type tutor, insert a colon, I type my name, Ubana Ayuo. Now I want to make Ubana Ayuo another font color because I don't want it to be black. So when you highlight this, you go back to the font settings.
I'm not seeing the screen.
You can't see the screen. It's probably your network. Please try moving around. Can anyone else see my screen?
I don't see you.
I can see your screen.
You can see my screen.
I can
right?
see your screen.
I can
sir.
see. I can see.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
It's up now.
Yeah.
It's now.
So coming back to my font, if you look, you'd see capital letter A with a red line under it. That is font color to change the color of your text. So very easily you can click on that. Now, because the last thing or the primary color chosen by Microsoft is red. So every time you just click on that A, it becomes red. Whatever you highlight becomes red. Whereas you can click the arrow down that is beside it and change the text color. I can make it blue, I can make it yellow, I can make it green. All of this would depend on what you want to see on your document. All right, so let's say I want to make it a shade of blue and I click on blue. I have tutor under Asubana you highlighted in blue. Are we together? Are we following?
Yes, sir. We are with you.
All right. Okay, now
Yes, sir.
quickly change your font text again to
So I
font size
cannot see
rather.
anything.
Sorry, please try and move around a bit. Maybe it's your cell coverage. Your network is probably not the best at the moment. Or you could try leaving the call and joining again. It would refresh things for you. All right. Okay, so now under this, after I hit enter, remember we were here before at the tutor and I hit enter. So it took me directly under. Then I pressed Control L, which is align left. All right. When you align left, it comes back to the left-hand side as it would be if you're writing on a normal notebook. Now, let's say we are typing outline for day 1. If you notice, my text is still blue because I haven't changed it from the last setting we did. So I highlight again. Now, you can either use shift and backward, or you just use your mouse and drag backward, and it highlights. When it highlights, there's going to be a quick pop-up menu where you can change your font color automatically to black. Now, I want this to be size 12, so I come here and reduce it to size 12. Then I hit enter again, and I want to write out the outline for day 1, but I want it to look smart. I don't just want it to be written in plain text. So I come up here to the paragraph ribbon again. If you can see my cursor moving, and I click on bullets. That is the first option there. Now you can either click on bullets to give you default bullet settings, or you press the arrow down and you have a couple of styles to choose from. You have the black dot, the empty dot. I hope you can see what I'm doing currently.
No, sir.
No, sir. We can't see what you're doing.
Okay. Let me try and share my entire screen if that would be better. The entire screen. Yes, share. All right. Can you see the whole thing now? Is it better now?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I go up to paragraph. Yes, sir. And I click on the arrow down. Can you see the bullet library?
See anything?
I can see it now. It's doing now.
All right, you can see
I
it
can
here.
see,
Okay.
sir.
So we have a couple of options. Let's say I use the
I cannot see anything.
please try exiting the call and joining again. Just do that very quickly. We wouldn't have gone far by the time you come.
I can see.
Okay, so let's just move on for time's sake. For time's sake, the class is being recorded. It can be watched over and over again. Okay, so let's say I click on this on my bullet style, and I say, okay, the first is ribbon familiarization. Now, once you hit enter, it gives you another bullet because to Microsoft Word, you are still typing a list that needs you to use that bullet style. So let's say the second is type setting. And then the third is case manipulation. And the fourth, font manipulation. All right. So we have these 4 items. Now I'm done with my list and I'm done with the bullet points. But if I hit enter, it's going to bring out another one. What you could do is hit enter again, or let's do Control Z, or you can press backspace and that bullet point disappears. Now, if you notice, the cursor is still blinking at the place where it was at before. You hit backspace again, it takes you, Microsoft follows grid lines. Word follows grid lines. So if you look at the top here where my cursor is, you're seeing hanging indent here, and there are 2 lines on the left and the right of it. Now the one to the left shows you that this is where my other text, the ribbon, type, setting, case, and font manipulation are starting from. The ones at the left show you that that's where outline for the one is starting from. So if I hit backspace again, it goes out to outline for the one. And that is the edge of our margin. Anything that makes me touch backspace again will take me back up to font manipulation. Now, moving straight ahead, let's work on case manipulation. If I highlight this text, for example, here, and I come here, back in the font, under the font subsection, you see I'm highlighting something that says change case. It has capital A and small a just by each other. Now, if you click on that, there are 5 options there. Sentence case. Sentence case capitalizes the initial letter of the word on your, or that you've highlighted, because that's how a sentence should be. Capital for the first letter and the rest are small. Lowercase makes everything to be in small letters. If I click that, you see case manipulation has become small letters all through. If I click that again and click uppercase, you see that case manipulation has become entirely capitalized and it looks out of place. Let's say I click it again and say capitalize each word. That brings me back to how it was. Capitalize each word. If I click on sentence case, the difference between sentence case and capitalizing each word is that sentence case gives you the initial letter of the first word as capital and everything else as small, whereas capitalizing each word will give you the initial letter of every word capitalized. Now, toggle case, what toggle case does for you is it reverses your capitalization selection. So if you look at case manipulation, C in case is capital and M in manipulation is capital. If you click on toggle case, it reverses that selection. And immediately you see that Microsoft Word has given me 2 red underlines, meaning that this is not a normal thing for them to see. So it has made my C small letter, then ASE capital, and then M small letter, then the rest of the word manipulation is in capital letters. And that it looks even more out of place than it being all capital. So we change it back to capitalize each word. And it looks very presentable the way it is. All right. Now, when we look at font manipulation, I highlight font manipulation. Let's say I want my font bold because I want to highlight that particular bullet point that is highlighted. I just click on this B that shows under the text name, or like the shortcut, Control B, and it becomes bold immediately. Once your text is bold, let's say you want to italicize it, you don't want it to be straight, you want their eyes to catch it immediately. Let's say for some reason they don't see that it's bold, you want it to still be italicized. You press Control I, and if you notice, my font manipulation is looking somehow like holding text because it's now bent and is in a sleek version. Now, if you click on underline, which is the next item, if you look there, it's BIU. Underline is Control U. It has underlined font manipulation for me. Now, this is very useful. Underlining is very useful for when you're writing headings or you're writing letters. So let's say For example, I want to write a formal letter. Remember, we are going to our paragraph, or we just press Ctrl R and go to the right, where we now write our address of sender with location and date. All right. Now, obviously, when you type these things out in full, they will be, more aligned. But let's say we are now trying to type the address of the receiver. So we click on align left or Control L, and then we do address of receiver. We hit enter, we press or type in their location, hit enter again, and then normal dear sir /ma, and then we want to type the reason for writing that letter. Now, we know the normal style is you either capitalize everything or you write in sentence in capitalizing each word and then underline. So let's say we want to use the underline function. Now you can, remember earlier I said you highlight and you underline, but you can also hit the underline selection before you start typing. But you make sure that you are currently in the space where you want it to appear. So you go there, you click underline or Control U, and then you say, let's say we are requesting, what's this now? Request for a new vehicle. All right. But if you notice, it's too much to one side, and that's not what we want. We want it centralized. So we come here, back to our paragraph setting and center it, and it's there. But if you notice too, is request for a new vehicle, but some of the things are still in small letters. So we come back to change case and we make it capitalize each word. Yeah. Now, if you come here again, you notice that 4 was underlined in blue because you usually don't capitalize 4 when you're writing sentences like this. So this is how it would look. All right. And you're getting somewhere now. Now you hit enter. Obviously, you don't want it to be in center anymore. So you come back to paragraph and align left, or like I said earlier, Control L, and you work on that. Now, let's say I want to cut or copy some of these things I wrote earlier and paste under request for a new vehicle. There's a function called spiking in Microsoft Word. Now, if you press Control C, or you right click and press and click on copy, all right, and then you come under to request for a vehicle, for a new vehicle, and you either right click and hit on paste, or you press Control V, font manipulation comes out. All right. But let's say I want to copy many things at different places. For example, if I'm copying font manipulation and case manipulation, I can drag with my cursor like this. I can drag on my mouse and select these two. But let's say I want to copy font manipulation, typesetting, and outline for day 1. But I don't want them to drag the other things inside, and I don't want to copy one, go and paste, come back and copy and go and paste. What you would do is to highlight. So you either drag your mouse again, or you use shift and backward, or if you're already behind the word, you do shift and forward. When you have highlighted, you press Control F3. If you notice, it has disappeared because that's the spiking does a cut function, not a copy function. Now I come to typesetting, I do the same thing, Control F3, and I come to outline for day 1, and I Control F3. When I come under request for a new vehicle, Control plus Shift plus F3. Can we see that? So Control Shift F3 will bring out everything that you spiked earlier. All right. Now it gives you, when you bring it brings it out with some space in between so that you can manipulate your work. Maybe you want to type something in between each of them. But let's say you don't want any space in between either of them. You come here, you delete the space, delete the space. Let's say you want to remove the bullet points also. You come to the space in between the word and the bullet point, hit backspace, and then you are back there. 1, 2, and you're back there. And now you have your 3 items there. Now, let's say for any reason you want to sort this list. All right. Excuse me. Let's say you want to sort this list. You want it to be in alphabetical order. You highlight the 3 things you have here, and then you come to this paragraph area again, but now you're not clicking on bullet points or your alignment options. You're coming to look at the place that has an A written above a Z with an arrow pointing down. Once you go close to that, you should see a sort bubble pop up, and it says arrange the current selection in alphabetical or numerical order. Now, once you click on that, it brings up a small pop-up menu. And now the first option, when it says sort by, you sort by paragraphs. When it asks you whether you want the text ascending or descending, you click on ascending. Normally the default is ascending, so you leave it on ascending. And then if you click on options, you will see some other sort options, but we don't need that now. We're not going to venture into that, but you just click on OK. And if you notice, it has given me font manipulation as the first, outline for day 1 as the second, and typesetting as the third, giving you FOT. So if at all you have a list or you have a table, you have things you want to arrange quickly in alphabetical order. Let me say you have a list of names of people in the class, you have a register, and you want to organize it. Instead of trying to do it manually, highlight everything with Control A, come to the sort option. As soon as you click it, that pop-up menu comes out, like I just did again. Make sure it's selected as paragraphs, and then the type is text. And then if your system has the option for automatic, some systems have the option for text, number, date, and automatic. Now, if you leave it as automatic, it will find everything that's there and sort them out automatically. Once you click on OK, everything does. Now, let's say I click descending for whatever reason I want to, and I hit OK. It has given me typesetting as the first, outline for day 1 and second, and font manipulation as the third. So it just gives you the freedom to arrange it in whatever way you want. All right. Now, our next item of consideration would be accessing a clipboard. Now, a clipboard is where things you have copied or you have cut stay on. Now, that's why when you are spiking, or rather why the option for spiking is there, is because the clipboard is accessible to whatever was most recently copied or cut at the time. All right. Now, let's say I highlight ribbon familiarization and I press Ctrl C. Case manipulation, I press Ctrl C, which is copy. Don't forget. I highlight tutor and Ctrl C. MS Word class D1, Ctrl C. Now, when I come to my workspace again and I click and I press Ctrl V, it's just MS Word class D1 that came out because, of course, that was the last thing that was copied. Now, if you come back to your header ribbon, to your top ribbon, where you have file and home and new tab, under home, you would see paste. And under paste, you would see clipboard. There's just a text in small. How many of you are there?
You can see it, sir.
All right. So if you click on that little arrow that is beside the word clipboard, your clipboard should pop out on your left. Oof. Why is mine showing like this? Okay. Now let's look at this now. If I typesetting Control C, did you see what happened? Something added in my clipboard. Did you see that?
Yes, sir.
All right. If you highlight outline for the one, Control C, it adds to the clipboard. Font manipulation, Control C, it adds to the clipboard. Why the others didn't show before was because I pasted the MS Word class D1 before opening clipboard. So it just worked with the last thing that was done. That's what was pasted. You understand? So now, since I haven't pasted anything, it's showing everything. Now, if I come under MS Word class D1 and I click paste all, everything comes out, but not in a very orderly fashion. It just comes out like that. All four of them. If you notice, typesetting is on the same line with MS Word and all that and all that. Now, if for any reason I need any of these ones out of my clipboard, I can come here, click on the arrow down, and delete it. But if I want to paste just one of them, instead of pasting the entire thing, I can just click on it, and it pastes for me. And just like that, you can control your clipboard much more easily than someone who does not know that the function even exists. I hope you're following.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, time is 9:42. Okay. Now, I'm going to show you how to hide text. Now, but before we do hiding text, there's one I want to Control C. Yes, there's vertical selection in Microsoft Word. Control V. Now, if you look at what I just pasted here from one of my other documents, I have a list of text. Yeah, and you can see it's written there vertical text selection, which you do with alternate plus click. Now, what does it do? What does vertical text selection do for you? It allows you to copy things in a very straight manner. Now, I'm holding Alt down, alternate button, and I'm dragging my click. That's my normal left click button on my mouse. And if you notice, I was able to highlight things coming straight down before even moving sideways. Are we together?
Yes, sir.
Now, let's say my cursor is here and I just want to press Shift and down. You notice how it copied? It copied the H and T in bright and went down, copied the space, and copied into the next thing. Yeah? Whereas I just want this H and T and then come down with everything that's under it. And when you hit Control X, which is the shortcut rather for cut, it just cuts out everything that was in its line of sight. So now let me press Control Z, bring it back. What I actually want to cut out is the space behind. Let's say I give someone my work to type and they give space behind. Now, instead of coming here and hitting backspace, 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 backspace till I have it in line, then come down to the next one and start hitting backspace, backspace, I can just quickly come here, hold alternate, drag it down, and backspace. and all 5 names have jumped back to the left alignment as they should be. Are we there? Is the demonstration clear?
Yes, sir.
All right. Now,
Yes, sir.
if you might ask yourself, why can't we just do the left alignment and allow everything to jump back to the left? Yeah, that's because we are already aligned on the left. Remember, they didn't use the paragraph tool now to shift it to the middle. It was that the person mistakenly put spaces inside. And so we're just trying to remove the space. But instead of going one by one, line by line, removing one space after the other, we just come to the back, alternate. You hold your alternate button down. Oh. You don't just press it once. You hold it down, you drag your mouse down to the end, and then backspace, and you've cleared all the space. Vertical selection is very useful for cutting things in a very straight line down. You don't need to bother about going left, going right before having to get to the next line. You just hold your alternate, drag down, and whatever you highlight. If I highlight this 3 like this, I've removed the first letters of these 3 words, and backspace, all of them have disappeared. Now, one very important thing to remember is that you have a very functional undo command, which is Control Z. So let's say for any reason, I mistakenly hit Control A and backspace by some coincidence or some happening. All I need to do, what do you say? All right. All you would need to do is Control Z, and it brings back everything for you. If you mistakenly cleared a line of a very important text in a document, let's say I remove this request for vehicle, and someone typed something else inside there, and it's gibberish and I can't make any sense of it, I just need to press Control Z, Z, Z until all of this text disappears and what was there before comes out. And once it comes out, you stop. So Microsoft made a very, 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 what's it now? Usable shortcut for us to make sure we recover all that is cleared by accident. Now, if you look up towards the top left of my screen, where I am, there's the arrow button for undo clear, and there's one facing front for redo typing. So if you made a correction, let's say here I typed vehicle with 2 capital O's. Yeah. When you press undo and undo and undo the 3rd time, it changes back to vehicle. But let's say it was vehicle, yeah, and then you cleared that and made it vehicle, correct spelling. And then someone does Control Z, and makes it vehicle again, like HEE, vehicle. All you need to do is redo your typing. You can either use Control Y or you come and use this button, and you click, and you click, and it comes back to the correct thing. So Control Z is to undo. But if you have undone a mistake and then someone undoes your mistake, you can always redo the text that you did with Control Y. So at this point, this is 9:49. I think I'll call it a day today. And when we come tomorrow, we would focus on creating tables, creating table of contents very easily and very effectively, and adding headers and footers to our documents for a more presentable project. At this point, I'll keep the floor open for questions, so we can just do a little question and answer session before it gets to 10 o'clock. All right?
Sorry, sir, I have a question.
All right, let me hear you.
Like when you were teaching, I think it's about to paste. You say we should control shift and control F3. I don't understand that part. Is it that we are going to hold control shift and at the same time control F3 without leaving the hand, or maybe
Okay,
some explanation?
I get what you're saying. So what I said was in the spiking option, that was the one you're talking about, spiking. I said when you want to copy multiple text, if you don't want to use the clipboard function, if you want to rather cut multiple text out and then paste them later on all at once. I said when you highlight the text, let me share my screen again so that it's easy for you to follow along. So I said, I come here now and I highlight this and I do Control F3. That's gone. I highlight this, Control F3, and I come down to address of receiver, highlight, Control F3. What I said is if you want to paste and you've come to the space you want it, is Control Shift F3. If you look at your keyboard, your shift is just above your control button. So it's not far away. It's not like you're stretching your fingers. I don't know if you get.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so it's just control and shift, then tap F3.
Okay.
Have you done that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
So any other questions?
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? The floor is open. The floor is open. We still have a few minutes till we are done. Let me check our chat box. Okay. No questions. Okay. I guess it was pretty straightforward and pretty clear. All right. I think at this point we can call it a night. But before we leave, I just want to thank our sponsors once again and give a shout out to our founder and pioneer of the Bodilon Omije Foundation, Professor Bodilon Omije, who has brought us together in this space, organized this free training for all of us. I would actually like everyone on the call to, just send our regards. I show our appreciation on the general group chat. Just, make the place lively, make him see that you actually appreciate the opportunity he's given. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it.
All right, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.